Hello, it's all got quite busy. The change of routine, because it's half term, has all kind of sent everything haywire. I've tried to really keep myself to the right routine as much as possible, but it's quite a challenge when it all changes. But I just thought I'd just do a quick video. Basically, I ate this morning peanut butter and satsuma on toast, mandarin on toast. And then I had my cannelloni for my lunch, so it was 4.5 sins this morning with peanut butter, 8.5 for the cannelloni, so it was 13 sins. And then I came back with the kids after picking up from my mum and dad's. I've had lots of decaffeinated coffee with almond milk during the day and a couple of apples. And then I came back and I just bolster eating got me, and I've got to sort of get the kids up to bed, and it's about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Because obviously by the time I got the kids back from mum and dad's, it's quite late, and need to get them up for a bath. I was hungry, starving. Not really starving, but I was hungry because obviously I hadn't eaten anything since my cannelloni at lunchtime. So it was sort of 6 hours away. I wasn't ravenous, but I felt myself needing something to. And the house is a tip, and I just had I decided that I would just eat some. I started off with the almonds. I picked the almonds up, and instead of bringing them out of the bag and put them in a little bowl, which I normally do, I just kind of ate them out of the bag. And I thought, well, I'll remember how many 8 are, and I got distracted. And I was like, how many have I had? And then I just was like, I just want to eat. So I ate some almonds. I don't know how many I had. And then I decided, so obviously my brain had switched over to bolster eating mode. So my brain was sort of saying, okay, I just want to eat now. And I couldn't, the switch that switches on the Slimming World couldn't quite switch on fast enough before the bolster eating kicked in. But in a weird way, and I am really, really, really proud of myself, because the switch switched on for me to bolster eat, but I ate no sugar and no milk products. It switched on. Literally, my brain just went. I know what it feels like. It just goes dunk, and I can't. It switches on, and I cannot stop it. It just is very compulsive. But I ate. I don't know how many sins things are, and I don't know how much healthy extra things are. But I get these for the kids. This is for the kids. This is raisin wheats, and there's no sugar in here, so it's just whole grain wheat and seedless raisins. So I ate a bowl of that, and I ate it with almond milk. I didn't have any milk, so it wasn't on plan, obviously, but it was on plan in terms of my own not wanting to have any sugar and not wanting to have any dairy products. So I had almonds, and I had those. Then I was making my son a peanut butter and jam sandwich. And the peanut butter has got nothing else in it, no sugar, no salt. It's just crunchy peanut butter, the Meridian style. And the jam I have is this strawberry jam, which is just pure fruit. So there's no added sugar in there. And the bread was the 50/50, which interestingly enough has no sugar in it. It's the Kingsmill 50/50 bread. My Kingsmill wholemeal, which I have for my Health Extra B, does have sugar in. So I normally but the 50/50 has no sugar in. So there's no sugar in that. It was just one piece of bread folded over. And I've made my son another one. So that's sat there. And then I'm now having this. I got myself some of this at Waitrose today. Because Waitrose is extremely expensive and very, very, very posh, but it does have some, as I've said before, interestingly, Waitrose, sometimes vegan and vegetarianism comes with being quite rich. So Waitrose does have quite a lot of vegan and vegetarian foods. So I got some green and black's organic cocoa. So this is no sugar in here. This is just organic cocoa powder. And 97%, and acidity regulator potassium carbonate, which I presume is the other 3%. You can see that it's very tiny writing. And I'm having this with some almond milk. So this officially should be, I'm counting. So this is 100 grams for the dry powder. It's 400 calories. So each teaspoon, it says a 4-gram teaspoon with the milk is 109 calories, but I'm not going to have the milk with what it says, so I'm going to go for 4. So I'm going to say that if it's 400 calories for 100 grams, it'll be 4 calories per 1 gram. So I'm basically going to go for, I'll measure, in this time I just did a heaped teaspoon, so I should probably about 10 grams, I would have thought, a heaped teaspoon. So therefore 10 grams is 10 times 40, 10 times 4, which is 40, which would be 2 sins, thereabouts, wouldn't it? But each time I do it in the future I shall measure it. But the idea is with this, is that you just put it with your milk, and then you're supposed to heat up the milk and then add it, but obviously I just put it in the microwave. I've just put a heaped teaspoon in with the almond milk, and I have put it in the microwave in a cup, and I've got to say it looks great. That's what it's come out as. So that's 1 heaped teaspoon of cacao powder, what does it say? I think it's cocoa powder, and almond milk. It's quite hot, it's just been in the microwave, but it has set for a little bit. Okay, now that's weird. It's not. No, not weird. It tastes like hot chocolate without sugar. I think I could do that, and that would be nice, and I reckon my mind would really get into that. I just thought it might be nice to make a change from decaffeinated coffee with almond milk, and if I do a little bit of that heaped teaspoon, 2 sins, it's the same as what options would be, isn't it? Because you have options as 2 sins, and that's good. So I think I'm extremely proud of myself that I went into a bolster eating mode, and I've eaten some almonds, some those little raisin wheats, and I've eaten a peanut butter and jam sandwich, all with no sugar in there, and I've made myself basically a hot chocolate with no sugar in. But I am really happy with myself, and obviously it's the almond milk, so it's come from my Healthy Extra A allowance. So although I'm over my sins today, I feel an incredible sense of relief that I have come so far with my eating habits and my diet. Not like diet as in losing weight, but like the what I'm choosing to eat. That even on my low points, which, you know, that's when bolster eating hits me, when I get low and I get tired and I just can't quite manage to keep it all together enough. That's when bolster eating kicks in for me. I just go, right, I'm going to have to eat now to keep myself going, because I've got nothing else, can't do anything else. Feels like I've got nothing else to, got no other way of helping myself out. That switch clicked, but the things I chose were exactly the foods that I choose to eat on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I don't choose to eat those raisin wheats, but there's nothing wrong with them in terms of the sugar. You know, the only reason I wouldn't choose them probably is because to actually have a bowl of them would be pretty high sins, and I don't know whether they're Healthy Extra B. They might be because of the nature of them, but 45 grams they normally give you on those types of things, and that's not going to be a lot, is it? You'd have to bulk it out, so I wouldn't normally eat those just because it wouldn't be as filling as toasted, like a little toast with peanut butter and satsuma or porridge or something. That would be more filling. But none of the foods there were they were Slimming World sin heavy, but they were not they were not off the other scale of which I measure my food, which is vegan/vegetarian, but vegan if I can manage to help it, and no sugar. So I'm really happy for myself. I'm really proud. I managed to get to the stage where I can eat. I feel safe. It makes me feel so safe that even though I snapped and couldn't cope, my brain has made such habits that it chose those things. I'm blown away, to be honest, because I even chose, I went past the margarine to get to the bread to do my son's food, and I didn't use the margarine. I could have had a margarine and jam sandwich, but I didn't. Chose the peanut butter, but I think it's my body knows. It knows now what it feels like, and it feels so happy and so content having no sugar that it just does not want it. It doesn't want it at all, and it wants only foods that are going to give it some nourishment. It just cannot abide it now, I don't think. It's just lovely. I feel safe from myself. I mean, not to say it won't happen again, etc., etc. But I'm really happy. Tomorrow I'm going to have my mother-in-law has given us some money, and we got these Waitrose meal deal, which is why I went to Waitrose today, because we're going to have a Valentine's meal, and we're going to have it Wednesday, obviously when the kids are in bed. So this won't be a vegan meal, and it'll be Slimming World's Sin Heavy. But basically it's things like this where they put together. So this is like a Waitrose cauliflower cheese. Obviously there are limited choices on vegetarian food, so I've basically gone for what vegetarian is. I'm going to have the cauliflower cheese, my partner's going to have the potato dauphinoise. And there's these Waitrose vegetarian Tues spinach, courgette and feta cheese pies. And there is the butternut squash open ravioli. And then for afters, I've gone for two Sicilian lemon cheesecakes, and they've got a little heart on the top. So tomorrow evening I shall be sin heavy with my food, and I shall not be doing vegan because obviously cauliflower cheese. But I think it was a lovely gesture of my mother-in-law to give us a bit of money to get this meal, so I am very, very grateful. It was her idea to do it, so I think it's nice. And also they give in the deal was some little bottles of, I'll show you them. Is that going to work? Some little bottles of elderflower cordial, and because there's 4 there, we can have 2 in the evening once the kids are gone to bed, and the kids can have 2 as well, like with their tea before they go to bed on Wednesday. So I thought that might be quite nice. The taste, I think it's really good. So it's not sugary at all, but it's just a different taste, and it's a very interesting taste, and certainly something that is quite quite malty, but it's not very bitter, because sometimes the cocoa powder can be quite bitter, but I think the almond milk takes away the bitterness. I think it's very good. I think it's quite nice. And I also got these as well, because you could have those instead of the elderflower presse, you could have chocolates, like a box of chocolates. And I decided we wouldn't get the box of chocolates because the elderflower presse would be a better option for us and more delicious, I think. But I got instead these, this was unnecessarily expensive, but it was on offer at the time. I think it was like £2 or something. It was normally £2. It was like, was it £3.25 or something normally, and that was £2.10, I think, something like that. And it's Willie's cacao, pure 100% gold. And it says cacao, silky nutty notes, 65 grams. There's just 2 chocolates in it, and it's got ingredients are cacao, cocoa solids 100% minimum, and then the ingredients is cocoa mass, cocoa butter. That's it. There's no sugar, no nothing else. It's 100%. So this is going to be crazy, but it says this box contains 2 squares, one for now and one for later. But I thought it might be really nice, then we could then have one each, me and my partner. I don't know what the sins would be, but it's going to be pretty down high, because look, 100 grams per quantity, 100 grams. This is 65 here. Look what's in the box. And you get 2 here, so it's going to be about 30 each, isn't it? And per 100 grams is 634 calories. So half of 100 is going to be 300, and half of 300 is 150. So what's that in sins? It's about 8 sins or something like that. So it'll be quite high sins on them, and I'm quite excited to find out what's going to be inside. But I thought that might be a really nice way of having chocolate. Obviously not at all, no sugar, no milk, no anything. I thought that might be really nice, and the fact that it's not going to be a huge amount, and it'll be very, very, like, it'll just be that time. I thought that's why I got the cocoa powder, because I don't think it's a good idea because I was thinking about doing the dark chocolate thing, but I don't think it's a good idea for me to have a bar of dark chocolate, because they do quite big bars, don't they? And I've tried it before and it's delicious, but I just eat it. So I think for me personally, the green and black's cocoa powder is going to be a better option for me. I get something with those notes of chocolate without the milk and the sugar, etc. But it's more of a taste thing, and there's obviously a lot lower sins because that's only 2 sins for the cup. I don't know if I want some more. I could always have another more, but it would be a lot. That chocolate's too easy to just consume, isn't it? It's got lots of different tastes in there. Obviously, the almond milk kind of comes in first, and then the kind of cocoa powder comes in after. But it's I've got so used to the taste of almond milk now, so it's not really it just tastes like decaffeinated coffee with almond milk with a cocoa powder after. So I'm very impressed with that. Right, okay. Well, that was a random one. It's been quite tough. Recently. The first couple of days. It's only a week's half term, so it'll be all right. But I do struggle in half terms. But it's just being out of routine, isn't it? And having to suddenly go into a different routine. I struggle mentally, but yeah, I'm okay. So tomorrow I will also be over sins. I'm gonna have to weigh in early as well, because obviously I'm gonna miss weigh in because we'll have our meal. So I'm gonna weigh in early. I was thinking about see if I could work out the sins for all of the foods, but I might not do, because it doesn't really matter, because I'm not going to eat any more than what's there, because that's all that's there. And me and my partner will share it, and if we share the sides or something, I don't know how much of the half, so I don't know how much it's going to be. So I'm not going to count the sins on that one, but I know that it'll just be a high sin day. But I can't believe how grateful I am to be free of it. The free of the fear of that I might trap myself in a binge eating cycle. I mean, I know I've still got long way to go, etc. But that's the first time that's happened where I have basically binged, because it's a comfort eating and it's a bolster eating thing, and I've not at all eaten any sugar. It's just amazing. Oh, time's up. You ready? Time's up. Well, I didn't know whether you want to come through. Are you ready? Have you finished your dancing? No, it's okay. He thinks it's time's up now. I was thinking, is it time's up for me? Not time's up for you. Do you want to say hello, Benjamin? Are we ready? We're going to go up for bed. Yeah. Should we go? I've made you your sandwich. Go and tell your sister. Okay. I'm going to take those babies up for a bath and a story. Thanks so much for being there for me through all of the trickinesses and the highlights and of the lows of it all. And I'm so glad for you to all be there for me, and I'm so glad that you tell me what you're doing in your lives, because it's really, really, it makes me feel that I'm not by myself. It makes me feel that, especially in these half-term patches where it can be quite tough, makes me know that I'm not alone, and we're all doing it in our own way, and we're all trying our best, and we're all finding different techniques to make it easier on ourselves, and different techniques to just help ourselves over those trickier hurdles. So thank you. I better go get those babies up to bed. Lots of love. See you. Bye.